Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're dimming the lights and keeping our voices down just a bit because we are about to dissect a truly brilliant piece of horror storytelling. We're going to look at a short script called The Backdoor Promise, and we'll break down exactly how it crafts this perfect, just suffocating nightmare. You know, if you want to know how to scare an audience, you really don't need buckets of blood. You just need to know how to set a trap. Picture this, because it begins with a phenomenal hook. It's 2:07 in the morning. Our protagonist, Ryan, is jolted awake by his ringing phone. He answers it, he's groggy, he's confused, only to hear his mother's soft, warm voice telling him to come home. She tells him the back door. Use the back door, sweetheart. Now sure, that might sound like a pretty standard eerie opening, except for one massive, absolutely terrifying detail. Ryan's mother has been dead for 3 years. So when the call ends, Ryan just stares at his phone screen. The call log actually reads Mom at 2:07 a.m., but the contact photo, it's a picture of her grave. Bam! This visual punch immediately establishes the haunting rules of this universe. We know instantly that the impossible is happening, and the writer doesn't waste a single second getting us there. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how this whole trap is put together. Part 1. Setting the haunted trap. Our first major structural phase is all about the setup. I mean, the writer has to get Ryan to an abandoned, creepy house in the middle of the night, and it actually has to feel completely justified. Think about it. How do you pull a protagonist into danger without making them look completely foolish? Well, you use allure. Allure is this emotional trigger designed to just totally override our logical survival instincts. Ryan knows his mom is dead, right? He knows it makes literally zero sense to drive to her empty house. But the script uses his grief against him. When he steps through that unlocked back door, he's hit with the smell of lavender and old books. It's his mother's scent. Now, in a house that's been sealed shut for 3 years, that scent is impossible. It's uncanny. It's this incredibly specific sensory detail that is weaponized to spring the trap and pull him deeper inside. Which brings us to Part 2, building psychological dread. Now that Ryan is finally inside the house, the writer completely shifts gears. We move away from that emotional lore and straight into a really meticulous escalation of tension. This is where the script really starts tightening the screws. Let's move to the mechanics and see how this dread builds, because it's a masterful 3-step process. First up, physical isolation. Ryan is all alone in a dark, empty house at 2 a.m. Second, digital isolation. And this is absolutely crucial for modern horror, isn't it? Ryan tries to text his friend Jake, just to have a safety net, but the signal completely drops. He is cut off from the outside world. And finally, step 3, sensory manipulation. He approaches his mother's bedroom door, grabs the knob, and it is ice cold, despite it being the middle of July with zero air conditioning. The writer is just systematically stripping away every single comfort and tether to reality that Ryan has left. But here is what's absolutely fascinating. The script was actively warning us long before Ryan even reached that bedroom door. In this grainy flashback to 3 years ago, Ryan's mom makes him promise to come if she ever calls. But the script explicitly notes that her shadow on the wall is facing the wrong direction. Yeah. Then there's that impossible lavender smell we talked about. And as Ryan walks up the stairs, the script casually tells us each step is louder than it should be. Listen, these aren't just throwaway lines. The writer planted these subtle little seeds early on to prove to us, the audience, that the environment itself was fundamentally wrong from the very second Ryan entered the house. That perfectly sets the stage for Part 3, mirrors and misdirection. So the tension is just at a boiling point right now. We reach the climax of the first act, and the script deploys a classic horror staple to perform this incredible piece of psychological sleight of hand. Ryan opens the bedroom door and he finds an antique mirror. He looks into it, lets out a sigh of relief at his totally normal reflection, and then the reflection tilts its head. Ryan didn't move. It is such a chilling, visceral reveal. But honestly, it's the dialogue that follows that really freezes your blood. The reflection speaks to him, but with a hollow, weird version of his own voice. It tells Ryan has been practicing being him since he was 6 years old. So the monster under his bed, the voice in the dark, it was all this entity just waiting. The reflection taunts him. It says, "She's here. She's been here. She called you because she wanted you to see her one more time." And right as the reflection says this, Ryan's dead mother appears in the mirror right behind him. She peacefully opens her eyes, looks at him, and silently mounts the word, "Run." Now, what is so brilliant about this moment in the script is what it's actually doing to us, the audience. The writer is using that creepy mirror trope and the terrifying visual of the dead mother warning him to entirely distract us. We are so focused on this monster in the glass that we completely miss the fact that the true impending horror hasn't even happened yet. Which leads us to part 4, deconstructing the double twist. Okay, here comes the devastating, total rug pull of a climax. The script accelerates the panic here, and we need to break down exactly how this double twist is executed, because it changes literally everything we just watched. Ryan sprints for the door, but it slams shut. Panicking, he whips out his phone to film the mirror, only to discover that he isn't in the reflection. Only the thing wearing his face is visible on the screen. The entity calmly tells him, "You haven't been real since you walked through the back door." And the revelations just start cascading. Ryan looks down. He has no shadow. His hands are translucent. In an absolute panic, he pulls his car keys from his pocket and drops them. But they don't hit the wood. They fall straight through the floor. The terrifying reality sets in. The Ryan we have been following this entire time is a ghost. And this brilliantly illustrates the script's biggest trick, a completely fractured timeline. Let's trace it out together, because it's a giant puzzle. 3 years ago, the real Ryan's mother died, leaving a desperate voicemail. Fast forward to tonight, 2:07 a.m. An entity inside the house uses that voice to generate a fake call, luring a manifestation, a ghostly copy of Ryan inside. That copy is the fake Ryan we've been watching this whole time. He was tricked into walking through the back door, fully believing he is real, until he drops those keys. Which brings us right to the present moment. As the fake Ryan begins to fade away, he checks his phone one last time. That 2:07 a.m. call log? Gone. It never even existed. But there is a voicemail from 3 years ago, the actual night his mother died. He plays it, and he hears the real, desperate warning. His real mother, terrified, begging him to never come to the house because the entity living there sounds exactly like her. The deadpan, totally chilling reality is that she never called him to come home. She called to keep him away. And that leads us to the final, masterful juxtaposition of the script. On one hand, we've got the fake Ryan. Translucent, trapped inside forever, completely outsmarted by this reflection that spent years practicing to replace him. But then, the camera pulls back out the window, a car pulls into the driveway. And who steps out? The real Ryan, solid, holding his actual keys. He looks up at the house, completely, totally unaware of the nightmare that just played out with his ghostly echo. He doesn't even really know why he drove there tonight, but he walks toward the back door, and it just swings open for him. The script fades to black on this incredibly haunting end card that asks a variation of this very question. Every house remembers the people who loved it. Some houses won't let them leave. This is a masterclass in horror storytelling for sure. It uses our own expectations right against us. It spoon-feeds us familiar tropes, the ringing phone, the creepy mirror, the dead parent, only to reveal that the real trap was the narrative itself. The house didn't just catch Ryan, it caught us. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you feel mysteriously drawn to a place from your past, you might really want to ask yourself, who or what is actually waiting on the other side of the door?